Hey M100, hello, hello. Hey everyone, it's Lori. Welcome to the 25-year celebration. I am excited to get with you today, as always, as I like to say. And I'm just really honored to connect with you this morning and talk about this 25-year journey of coaching, of light work, of mentoring, of this business. So I am so stoked to get with you. So come on in, say hello when you get here. I would love to hear from you, and let me know in the chat if you can hear me. Let me know where you're from. Let me know if you're new to me. Let me know if you're a veteran. Let me know. So, hello. Yes, I know. It is so amazing, Lori. So, I have some stories to tell you today. And I have some things that I want to share. Luna's already in the house. Come on in, Luna. Oh, God. She's the prosperity cat, right? So, I have some things that I want to share with you today. In addition to, of course, like celebrating this most amazing time. So 25 years, right? I have been in business as a coach, and it has been an incredible journey. And I just like really can't wait to like share it with you. I'm like starting to cry already. Holy smokes. You guys know if you've been with me for a while, sometimes the emotion flies. But I do feel like so touched to have been able to do this work with so many of you over the years. And I feel very blessed, and I feel very grateful. And sometimes it's a pinch me kind of experience. So, and sometimes the pinch hurts. Let me just say that. It's pinch me, is this real? And then, oh my gosh, this pinch actually kind of hurts. More on that. But it's been like this magnificent last 25 years. And I just want to kick off by saying I'm so grateful for you. And I'm so happy that you can join me this morning. If you're watching me, yes, and you're here live, say hey. And if you are watching me on replay, type replay. And she just might be really super naughty today. So anyway, so who's in the house? Good morning. Who's all here and saying hey? Lori and whoa, and Mary Buckley, hello, and Lynn, hello, good morning, Kendra, good morning, awesome. Hello, Connie. Hello, Sue. Hello, Sarah. Hello, everybody. Come on in. Hello. Good morning. So, holy smokes. So, it's like there's so much to tell. And I swear I'm not going to go over an hour today. But I could probably talk for 3 because I have like learned so much. I've had so many experiences. And, reflecting back over the unfolding of all of this miraculousness, reflecting on that in the last few weeks since I put out that I would be coming to share some things with you. I've had so much like bubble up within me that I can't even put it into words sometimes. And for a person, as you guys know, who has lots of words for everything, that says a lot. So, but it's like the reflection, when you look back at your beginnings, and I want to encourage you to really learn from like my story today. But when you look back over the last 5 years or 10 years or 25 years, it really is remarkable what you can learn from your journey. Thank you. Yeah, my ego loves the hearts. Send me some hearts, and it also like lets the world know that I'm on. Good morning, Lisa Blue. Good morning. Hello, Kathy. Good morning. Sue, thank you. So, but I want you to feel into this space with me today. Yes, I'm honored honoring this journey, and I'm honoring the becoming. But there is something so magnificent about looking back. There's something so magnificent about looking back and seeing the pieces of how you've unfolded in your life to where you are right now. And we go through cycles, and I'm going to share with you like how I see my cycles of myself, of my business, of my light work. And while I would not have the time to tell you about all the synchronicity that has unfolded over the last 25 years, I promise you, this is a quantum journey. It has been a synchronistic unfolding every single time. And the way that things have unfolded for me is really a direct result of the immersion in the work. Because what I learned very early on was I could not for a moment separate myself from the purpose and the calling that I have and the development of myself as a human being. And so I always laugh, and I would say to my circles, yeah, this business is like personal development program in a box, like the business itself, like the calling itself, the coaching itself. Like, this is a personal development program in a box, and it is not easy some days. And then some days, magic. Some days, magic. So many days, magic. So I want to encourage you, no matter where you are right now. And as you all know, I teach a kind of self-love that helps you stand in your power. I teach a kind of self-love and coming back home to the love that you are, so that you can stand in your worth, so that you really truly manifest the best life, because you are your first vibration, right? Everything is energy, and your desires come through you. Your dreams and desires come through you. And you, as your first vibration, need to be tended to before anything else. So in the name of self-love and appreciation, I've given myself, permission to really use my calling as personal development in a box, so to speak. And I've used my calling to further deepen my worthiness and deepen my personal expansion. So it was quite the ride. It was quite the ride. And I have to say that for me to look back and realize, a couple months ago, I'm like, oh my gosh, I am at this 25-year mark this fall. I am at this 25-year mark. How did that happen? So I want to tell you a little story about how the unfolding of Lori, the unfolding of business, the unfolding of this calling. And the unfolding of this calling for me is no different than any call that you feel. It's no different than any desire that's birthed inside of you that you feel like, oh my gosh, I have such deep desire to experience this and to live this in my world. So way, way, way back, traveling back to my very first nudge, my very first opening, I was living in a duplex, a not so good neighborhood at the time. And somehow, some way, this world of coaching fell into my lap. And I always talk about, having things be land in your lap effortless. Well, through a synchronistic unfolding of events, right, I learned that there was this budding profession called coaching. And I literally had just graduated with my master's degree in counseling. And all I knew was, and I hadn't even graduated yet, all I knew was that this was calling me. I could feel it. No one knew what it was. It wasn't accredited, etc., etc. I didn't know what that would look like. You couldn't take insurance, all the things. And I remember walking across the parking lot headed to my graduation that day, thinking to myself, checkbox, but I can guarantee you that I won't be sitting in an office doing one-on-one counseling for somebody else's business for very long. I could feel this massive desire in me to somehow, some way, didn't know yet, affect the world with a different kind of message or light or empowerment. It was so foggy then, but all I knew is that something else was calling me. So I graduated. I had invested in coach school, coach training, and I was on an adventure. And back then, my mentor was Thomas Leonard, and he was really the father of coaching. And my mom and I signed up for the program. We did it together, and we made this investment in something we didn't even really know, what it was going to look like. And so here I am, working as a social worker, cutting my teeth in the social work industry, in the counseling industry, and I started to build a coaching practice. No one knew what a coaching practice was. They'd say, what do you do? I'd be like, well, I do social work, but also I'm a coach. And they'd be like, are you a cheerleading coach? Are you a basketball coach? Nobody knew what a life coach was back then. Nobody knew it. And so I went on an adventure, truly, to listen to the call of my soul. And looking back 25 years now, I'm like, oh my goodness, the unfolding. Oh my goodness, the cycles that I have gone through as a coach and that I've gone through as a human being, and that my business as an extension of myself, not separate from myself, has gone through, morphed and transformed as I've been guided and led, absolute divine guidance through this work. So fast forward, I worked as a social worker for many years while I built my business. And I remember my very first article that I ever wrote, somehow on the interwebs, don't even know exactly where it was posted, on some listserv. I wrote an article called Tapping into the Flow of Prosperity. And at the time, I was formulating what it meant, and through my own lens and my own vibration and my own work as a teacher, I was formulating what you guys are standing in today, which is really a system for personal transformation and manifestation. But back then, I didn't know. Back then, I was like, woof, what am I inspired to do today? And so I wrote my very first article. It was 10 points. It fit on one piece of paper, and it was how to tap into the flow of prosperity. And 42 people signed up for my email newsletter list. And back then, I didn't even know what to do with that. And I remember sending them an email hello, I'm available for one-on-one coaching. I sent them an email, and I started to just contribute, write them, connect with them. Some of you, I bet, are here today from those early days. So I call my journey, this big journey, I call it Journey of Lori, but it has 6 cycles. And when I go back to and re-look at it's like my birth story. When I go back to that amazing origin story and honor this, something shifts within me, and I have so much awe as I look back where I was and who I was, and see the journey, see the unfolding. Because here's the thing, when we do this, we come to understand it's not all for naught. We come to understand I'm not alone. We come to understand I have a deep purpose, and I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. And so there are things to celebrate in that, which I'll get to in a minute, but I looked at my journey over the last 6 years, and it really comes down to 6 different cycles of becoming, 6 different cycles. And so I had my initial call, and it was like, I was like, whoa, coaching, no one knows what that is. Whoa. And I remember like so many conversations around, will you be paid for that? And I was like, yes, I will. And so I entered into this call. I heard it, I answered it, and then some days I didn't, and then some days I did. And I found myself wavering and unwavering and going, wavering and then being unwavering as I like forged this path. And so cycle number 1 for me was all about this. I answered the call. I went anyway. And despite the fact that no one really even knew, I like showed up to what I felt. And even though I didn't know, I went anyway. You guys have heard me say things like, go before you know, because the universe has your back. You will be carried. It doesn't mean that you throw out all of your mental faculties. You have them for a reason, but go before you know. And so cycle 1, I answered this call, and raise your hand if you feel like you're answering some kind of call of your soul. Sometimes it is about living your purpose. Sometimes it is about standing in your power. Sometimes it is like, I'm on the cusp of change and it's my time now. But you have to answer like that call. And there's a bit of a trailblaze, that happens. So did I trailblaze for others? Yeah, I was like 27-ish, 26 years old, right? And all of a sudden I'm like, I'm a coach. People said, oh, honey, what are you going to teach me? I'm like, I don't know. I have no idea, but I'm going to go before I know. And I did. And that was cycle number 1. And I spent a lot of time in one-on-one coaching and figuring out like how I would make a living doing this thing. And I figured out like what my system for myself was. And I figured out what I deeply believed in. And I honored like what was showing up to be taught through me. And so it was expansion of my business in those early years, but it was like answering the call, showing up no matter what. Did I have to continue to do that through the years? Absolutely. Because is it ever like an absolute direct journey? No, the journey is so messy. So I answered the call about 42 times, which you'll hear me talk about. But fast forward, I went into then what I call like my cycle 2. Cycle 2 for me was the butterfly experiment cycle. Raise your hand if you're here because you came to me through butterfly experiment. And this is where I really, really got grounded that I was teaching universal law. This is a lot of years ago. This is probably, well, my daughter was a baby. She's 15 now. So do the math, right? This is, like 14 or 15 years ago. Butterfly experiment showed up, it came through me, and I started teaching on a different level. But this is really where I allowed myself to become a conscious channel. And my whole everything was around connecting to the laws that I knew that I was going to teach, touching the frequency, becoming more intuitive, even more than I was, but also really becoming a receiver of the blocks of thought that I teach you today. And so butterfly experiment, to say it's cycle 2 is just to say when it happened, like I answered the call, cycle 1, butterfly experiment, cycle 2, I became a conscious channel. And I will tell you that while I'm in the business, becoming the conscious channel for the work was an incredible chapter. It was an incredible chapter, and it needed, you guys, it needed to happen just like that. Like it needed to happen just like that. And some of what I teach you about self-love and self-trust and intuitive growth and, how you hold yourself and, all the things that like come into the tending of the vibration that you are, I was doing back then because I needed to. I needed to be in my own personal growth and development for this business to become a business, for this light to touch others. So hear me on this. Like, I don't care what you do. I don't care how you do it or what your expression is. It's like, these are some important pieces. And being the conscious channel, who am I the conscious channel for? My divine guidance? Yes. My inner being? Yes. Am I willing to get my own mind out of the way so I can receive the truth? Yes. So the butterfly experiment cycle is definitely marked by a program that I created. But it's a massive, massive honoring of the 25-year journey, because holy smokes, I became the butterfly. Holy smokes, like, I became the conscious channel for the work. Raise your hand if you are a light worker, by the way. I'd be so curious. Or if you feel that your work is a calling, or you have a calling that you would love to honor. So, oh, wow, right? So, fast forward. I marinated in butterfly experiment cycle for a while I tended to the garden of myself and became the butterfly. I tended there. And then there was so much disruption, and this is business techie, but I had a massive disruption in my light being like seen and heard when social media hit the scene, and my website crashed, right? Felt like a very bad thing, but my website crashed and I couldn't get found, right? I couldn't get found in Google anymore all of a sudden. And so there was this thing called Facebook that we were on. And I'm like, well, okay, I guess I will create a business page in Facebook, which I did. And so fast forward a little bit more. Here I am, I'm sitting outside my mom and dad's house, and I was hanging out. They have a river that runs through their backyard, and I was like, what is next for me, universe? And conscious channel, I heard it, downloaded right to me, the Manifestation 100 days of intentional creation. And I was like, whoa, okay, oh my gosh. So I looked at this thing called Facebook at the time, and I said, wow, who wants, raise your hand if you want to come with me on a journey of intentional manifestation. It's going to be 100 days. And that is cycle 3. Cycle 3 is the Manifestation 100 cycle. And it was profound because it was where I made this conscious decision as a conscious channel to show up and be fearless. Most days in the beginning, I was fearful, and I showed up anyway. And about 200 of you showed up to walk through these messy 100 days as they poured through me day by day by day. I channeled them. It was mind-blowing, and it was hard some days, and it was transformational. So I couldn't have planned, nor do I ever have wished I could have. I couldn't have planned the things that unfolded from cycle number 3 of this adventure called the Manifestation 100. And we're still here today, but there's more cycles. They overlap. So the Manifestation 100 brought me to a place where I moved energy and connected literally, not with hundreds, but thousands of you over the years that we've done this work in some capacity, the 100 days, the sister programs, all the things. And so the 100 days morphed, and I wouldn't have known it as I ever sat in that duplex, that duplex apartment saying, I'm going to be a coach now. I would have never known that I'd be standing looking at like 15 or so or more different sister programs that I have taught you all over the years, Sync Mastermind, and I'm like the Prosperity Challenge, Clarity, Self-Love Breakthrough, oh my gosh, Visionary. I mean, there's so many, right? And so cycle 3 was this amazing Manifestation 100 cycle, this Manifestation 100 chapter. And it was like part of that initial awakening. I look at it like there was 2 awakenings. The first awakening was cycle 1, 2, 3. The second awakening is still going on. Cycle 4, 5, 6. So much happened during those years. So much energy and so much ebb and flow and so much unfolding. So many of you I've met and continue to meet to this day. This is truly like a soul family. I could call this the soul family cycle too, because this is where we have done so much work together. And on every single level, of course, I'm so honored to have been blessed to be, you know, your coach, your facilitator. You can't. One thing that I've come to know is that the path lights up when you do one glowing stone at a time. And I will say that again and again and again. If you ask me, obviously, there's so many things learned here. But if you asked me, what did you learn? I would say the path lights up the path lights up, it unfolds when you do. That means light myself up. It is interesting how the path does. It is interesting how magnetic we become. It is interesting how powerful we get when we focus on ourselves. And so it's always been about you. So it's always been about you. It's always been about lighting yourself up. It's always been about me lighting myself up and just showing up. So, and so much to say about that. So fast forward, right? The Manifestation 100 cycle still goes on, but there's another cycle that came. There's another birthing that came. And for me, cycle 4, here we go. It was the dark night of the soul cycle. And for me, it was like Butterfly went back into chrysalis and she went through really hard times. So cycle 4 was this huge time for me of being in the chrysalis and still doing the work and still being the channel. However, learning that, oh my gosh, it's in this dark night that I actually made the hugest transformation that I could ever imagine. It was this time when it might appear that, you know, when a butterfly goes into the breakdown and the caterpillar goes into breakdown, and inside the chrysalis is this goop-like state. They call it pupa. Humans call it trauma. Well, we get into pupa state and it would appear like nothing made sense. But in the same breath, the dark night of the soul brought me so much clarity and so much transformation that I realized I had to be there to level up. I had to be there. People said to me, "You're not the same." And I'm like, well, I'm not, because I'm pupa right now. But in pupa, I had probably some of the most significant moments of my own like awakening. And it's because of that I'm able to lead you guys into cycle 6 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9. So massive transformation happened in cycle 4. It was amazing. And it was a blip on the radar in the big 25-year picture. But like cycle 4, dark night of the soul, huge transformation. Spent time in my chrysalis. And it's where all the transformation leveled up. It's like awakening number 2. There was this awakening, answering the call, butterfly experiment phase, Manifestation 100 phase. Dark night of the soul phase. Want to level up? Let's go. Because to get brighter, sometimes first we have to get darker. Sometimes we have to get to that place where we dive so deep into our introspection, so deep into our connection to the quantum field, so deep in our connection to our guidance that everything changes. And I guarantee you that period of time, call it a year or two, maybe, that year of my life was absolutely mind-blowing in terms of the receiving of and the crystallization of the spiritual technology, the spiritual methodology we practice here in the M100 and in the Academy. A massive leveling up, a massive crystallization. So fast forward just a little bit. Cycle 5, rebirth, goddess rising, clarity, letting go, and Tim. And when you come from that, when you come from darkness and choose a rebirth with intention, and you honor that rebirth in the unfolding that it wants to be. Sometimes things happen, timelines collapse. A new you, a new identity, a new everything is birthed, and and for me, I'm like, holy crap, now what? And so cycle 5, rebirth, felt like not just like another, like you claim it, right? It's like, it's not just another claiming of the call, but it's such an expansion and a becoming of the call. So first we answer the call and we go through our cycles, and then all of a sudden, there's this expansion and you actually become the call. And I'm like, whoa. And still there's fearless, fearful, wavering, unwavering. There's this like breathing back and forth into the expansion of the goddess rising that you are. And that is completely the experience that I have. So fast forward, Tim, and to say the synchronistic unfolding from cycle 1 to cycle 5 hasn't been jaw-dropping, would be such an understatement, because that's what it absolutely has been. So let me share with you, the path lights up when you do, and the divine has your back. Partner with her, partner with them, because honestly, when you show up to do the work of like loving yourself, personally transforming yourself, when you show up to do that work, oh my God, like powerful. And all of a sudden I look back and I'm like, whoa, I'm being carried. Whoa, this synchronistic quantum journey. It's blowing my mind, but it's the real deal, kids. It's the real deal, goddesses. Okay? Like I couldn't make this up if I tried. I could not make this up if I tried. I know for sure, as you manifest yourself, the manifestations of your dreams follow. You come first. So, Tim, whoa, fast forward, whoa. I walked into this life that I could not have ever dreamt up. And when they say, this is something better, universe, yay! Because we're all like trying to do manifesting hacks. I was like, wow, if I ever manifest my soulmate, I want him to be a handful of things, right? growth-oriented, deep communicator, right? Growth-oriented and deep communicator. Warrior to my goddess. Wow, right? He walked in and had no idea he was all of that. And together we have like expanded and expanded and expanded. And this road of synchronistic unfolding has been remarkable. And the universe has continued to be like, let me send you all the signs. Let me send you all the synchronicities along the path, which there are so many to tell you about. I mean, oh my gosh. 108s and 1108s and butterflies and fireflies and like unspoken communication and out-of-body experiences. And it has been one thing after another in such a beautiful way. And in the same breath, as I've learned to step over nothing in my own personal development, and that is why my daily life feels like a quantum event. Our relationship feels the same. We step over nothing in our relationship daily feels like a quantum event. So it's been so magical. So fast forward, still in cycle 5, but now moving into cycle 6, right? We bought a house, we got engaged, we have been cultivating this togetherness, this unity while we live the work. And we enter cycle 6, and that's really where I'm standing today as we talk about, 25 years in business as a coach, when at the beginning, nobody knew what that was. And at the end of 25 years, everybody knows what that is. And so many people feel the call to become a coach or a light worker because that's the purpose. So much to be said about that span of time and the unfolding and the development. But I move into cycle 6, which I call the lighthouse, because I started manifesting lighthouses, and people have asked me for years, when are you going to do a coach program? When are you going to make us manifestation 100 coaches? When are you going to teach coaches? And I've always been like, one of these days. And the truth is that the responsibility that comes with coaching coaches and loving on light workers felt big for me, especially in cycle 1 and 2 and 3 and cycle 4, right? I needed to do my thing. And when I did my thing, I was literally cultivating the strength and the come from to be able to hold the space to enter cycle 6 when I was ready. So I started manifesting lighthouses. And I was like, universe, what is up with this? And 2 things started coming out for me. And I knew it. And Tim knew it. And every night, or almost every night, we like to take walks. And almost every night, we put our bodies in the hot tub. And that has become our daily board meeting of, what's this light going to look like? And how are we going to do this? And what's it going to feel like? And what do we want it to feel like? And so creating our reality, we're creating our love life, we're creating our marriage, we're creating this calling together, because he's a light worker, of course, and fully embodies and steps into this. So anyway, so I started manifesting lighthouses while we're also manifesting breadcrumb after universal sign, leading us to this beautiful marriage. coming soon. And so, so cycle 6 is about this union. Cycle 6 is about the lighthouse. And so what's being birthed at 25 years is not only this amazing soulmate union, officially on paper, this divine union on paper, but also is really like the full embodiment of cycle 6. You know, it's the full embodiment of the lighthouse. So 2 things have come out of this that I want to share with you that are so beautiful, and are coming shortly. The first one is the Manifestation 100, which was created in cycle 3, has been a program of 100 days of intentional creation where everybody got a lesson and a video every day. And I have used that as the background, backbone, foundation work for many years. For the initial years, that's all I had. And then I went on to like create all kinds of sister programs and deeper work and deeper transformations. But what I'm being told, because I listen completely, is it's time to be the lighthouse. And what that means is the 100 days is going to be pulled from the programming that I currently have and be offered again to the world. And when I initially put it in my core programming, it needed to be nurtured there. It needed to grow there. And now, entering cycle 6, the Manifestation 100-day journey as a program, as a book, is like this. It's time. It's time. So, 25 years in business and 8 some years of the Manifestation 100 group. The 100 days training is going to be available all by itself for you guys to indulge in a self-study or in your own personal journey. So that will be dropping this weekend, and I'll keep you informed. But every part of me knew it's time. The M100, the core 100 days, the version 2 of those 100 days needs to come out now. It's ready to come out and be like broadcast lighthouse style for anyone that feels called. So that is part one of cycle 6. Part 2 of cycle 6, and this is probably even a bigger transformation. It's an even bigger announcement, is that the Luminary program is on deck and will be announced also very soon. So if you're a light worker, if you are a change agent, if you are a visionary, and being a true luminary, honoring all of your cycles, becoming a conscious channel, shining the light, understanding how universal law can change when done in a certain way, how it can change your clients and your own life, how you can live a quantum life, teach quantum work, and shine your light to the corners of the universe so that you can be a part of that transformation for yourself and for others and for this planet and the universe. Luminary is on deck for October. So being that we are in transition mode, that is not open for registration, and we are absolutely not at this time yet open for enrollment on Luminary. We have some things to do in the meantime, but we'll be back in about 2 weeks with more on that. But I wanted to tell you about Luminary because cycle 6 is all about the lighthouse. And I asked my guidance, what's the best way for, my work, which has, and I'm blessed to say that it's transformed like thousands of lives. What's the best way for my work to touch the people it needs to touch? And they're like, well, you need to coach coaches. You need to teach the light worker. So for those of you that have felt the call, or you felt the call and you want to step up fully, know that Luminary is coming soon. I just, like, I wasn't going to totally talk about that today, but I was like, you know, I'm going to talk about that today. I know I can't offer it to you today, but it is something that I want you to know is coming, because we're in a cycle right now, a mini cycle, and lots of good things are happening, and we'll be back. We'll be back. So Manifestation 100 days will be available for all of you. Please go start a 100-day round. My clients love to do the 100 days in rounds. Like I said, I've done them guided. I've guided you through the rounds of the 100 days for, oh goodness, about 6 years probably. And so the home study version, I guess, is one way to say it. The home study self-guided version is going to be available again because it's time. So we're in cycle 6, and cycle 6 is calling for it. So cycle 6 is also calling for the Luminary program. So if this nudges you, pay attention, because I'll have more details about how you can work with me in Luminary if you feel called to step into your calling, do the light work, rise in a different kind of way, show up in a different kind of way. If you feel called to actually, like, you know, earn an income from your calling, this is also for you. So coming soon, Luminary, watch for it. Okay, so I want to give you some things also to think about. I want to give you some things to think about, because celebrations are required daily. I am a big supporter, I guess you want to say, encourager, that, you know, your energy and your vibration is so important. But when you celebrate you, it sends a message to your subconscious mind of what? I am worthy. So I'm celebrating my cycles. Do you hear them? Right? What are my cycles? Celebrating the cycles. I celebrated the call. I'm celebrating the development of myself in that call. That's butterfly. I'm celebrating the manifestation 100, the rising in that call. I'm celebrating cycle 4, the dark night of the soul. I'm celebrating that. I'm celebrating cycle 5, the rebirth. I'm celebrating cycle 6, my lighthouse. I want you to look back over your life, and that's why I want 25 years in business, not just to be a rah-rah about Lori's 25 years, but to be like, you know, look at your birth story, look at your origin story, look at your becoming story, and can you celebrate, like, all of it? Drop it down for me. I want you to tell me the next 10 minutes, I want to be a celebration, because I just, like, celebrated my whole life journey with you. But the path lights up when you do, and when you start celebrating your journey, you start lighting up. So let's do a little bit of that today. So I want you to celebrate some things. I don't know how many things these are. They're all numbers all messed up, but I'm going to tell you some things to celebrate. Start telling me what you're celebrating. Celebrate your journey or your unfolding. You are a divine crystalline goddess. You are a powerful creator. Acknowledge this. Celebrate something about yourself. Go get it down in the chat for me. I will come back and I'm going to read them all. And as I do, I know that those celebrations will be something that I celebrate in myself and that others can celebrate in themselves. Isn't it interesting how when we celebrate something in ourselves, we have a choice to either be irritated that someone's celebrating themselves and you haven't gotten there yet, or you can say, we're all one. I celebrate my sister and I celebrate the potential in myself. Let's go. What do you think activates the divine unfolding of where you're going? I definitely tell you it's the latter. Number 2, I want you to celebrate your mind and your ego and that part of you, that inner child that has to go into her chrysalis sometimes, that is sometimes in her comfort zone. I want you to celebrate her, for she keeps you safe, and that is her job. And I want you to look and say thank you to her and celebrate that part of you that needs love, and pour light into her and give her everything that you could. Most of the time we spend a bunch of time saying, yeah, I went through a really hard time, or I just can't get past my ego, or I can't seem to do XYZ. And I can promise you that holding yourself there is like what Abraham Hicks says, holding a cork underwater. You must celebrate the mind. You must celebrate the ego. Tell me how you're going to celebrate your ego right now. Go time. Tell me how you're going to celebrate your mind right now. Go time. Tell me how you're going to celebrate your sweet inner child right now. Go time. Okay. Celebrate that you have done magnificent things. Celebrate what you've manifested. Celebrate. You'll hear me say this in the work all the time. Celebrate every synchronicity, every single time. There's a reason I have you do that. Celebrate, celebrate, celebrate that. And celebrate that you've done hard things, and celebrate that you can again, and celebrate that you are going to create and manifest your desires with certainty. Celebrate that you can get unwavering about that and revel for a moment in what is possible. Drop it down in the chat. Your life has gone through cycles. I have, just in my business alone, I can identify 6 amazing cycles of ebbing and flowing through those cycles. Look at yourselves. You are beautiful. What's next for you? What do you want? Look at that and honor that in you. We get caught up in the weeds. We say things like, I haven't gone very far this year. I haven't done X, Y, Z. My beautiful clients say, I haven't done the 100 days or even one of the 100 days for a year. And I'm like, so what? How about now? Do you want that? Let's go. If not, let's do something different. What drives you? What moves you forward? Stop judging. So like, whoa, be in celebration of yourself. Can you hear me? Why? Because it's an act of self-love. Why? And why does it work? Because when you celebrate you, you are worthy. When you honor the birth story and the character arc, can you hear it? Right? Can you hear how your life kind of plays out like a movie? But that movie can do you, or you can jump in and do the movie. My grandfather, and I say this all the time, used to say, Lori, you're going to live those days anyway. You might as well make the best of them. And I swear that is one of the reasons why the Manifestation 100 exists, because 100 days does go by quickly, and we are going to live them anyway. We can either live it in self-depreciation, or we can live it in transformation. We can live it on a quantum level and say, I'm going to make every day magical, even if it's hard at first. Because guess what? It's like pick your hard. It's hard to stay in alignment. It's hard to show up to the journal. It's hard to like remember to do, right? To do the work. It's hard, it's hard, it's hard. But not living the life that you want is hard. Not having love in your life in the way that you want it is hard. Not doing your purpose is hard. That's all hard anyway. So some days it's like pick your hard and then let it become easy. Let it become easy. Because there is a specific philosophy that we do here. There's a specific philosophy. There's a specific framework. And that framework holds a frequency. And when you get it in your bones, everything has the power to transform. And it is amazing. Okay, so back to the celebrations. You know how I like to riff. Okay. So, on that note, celebrate that the power to align, the power to choose that alignment lies within you. No one, and here's the thing, no one can take it from you. Do you know that no one can take it from you? It's like alignment over my circumstance every single time, and it's yours. And I'm not saying circumstance doesn't suck. I'm not saying circumstance doesn't look like pain and trauma and grief and pupa. Thank you, butterfly. Sometimes. But just remember that you have the power to shift into another state at any given time. It doesn't mean that it's easy. It means that you can. That's it. So you're going to live these days anyway. You might as well make the best of them. Okay. What else? Tell me what you're celebrating. Tell me what you're celebrating. Celebrate what you've learned. 25 years, 5 years, 10 years, you name it. Celebrate what you've learned. What's the most magnificent thing that you've learned in the last 5 years, 10 years, 25 years? What is the most magnificent thing you've learned? I always say, if I ever read a book, if I ever do a program, if I ever have an experience, if I walk away from an experience, good, bad, ugly, you name it, the way that my ego sees it, if I walk away with one little thing, it will be worth it. If I walk away stronger, it will be worth it. If I walk away with one idea, it will be worth it. So tell me what you've learned, the one thing that changes. What's the one thing to keep your eye on that can continue to move you forward? What's the one thing? Okay. All right. What else? In advance, celebrate what's possible. Thank you. Thank you. In advance, celebrate what's possible. Could you do that? And you might be like, well, Lori, you did not see when you were in that, duplex in the not so hot part of town when you became a coach. You didn't see what was possible. You didn't see it. But I did feel light, and I did feel something moving, and I did have this knowingness that I wanted to experience this magnificent transformation. I did know that being a catalyst, and I could feel that, I just didn't know how. So, okay? So, holy smokes, celebrate in advance what's possible, okay? Celebrate your becoming. Celebrate who you've become. Celebrate the moments in your life when you've absolutely been certain, even if you've wavered. Celebrate the moments in your life when you've been certain about who you are, about what your purpose is, about, the power you hold, that you're not alone. Celebrate your certainty about the guidance. Celebrate your certainty about the big picture. Maybe you've had your own moments of awakening. Okay. Put them down. I'm going to read every single one of these later today. Tell me what you're going to celebrate. Celebrate the not knowing, because knowing the path is such a buzzkill. Not only that, but if you knew, it would not impact you. The unfolding of those high points and those low points and the path to get there, the ebbs and flows that move you from caterpillar to butterfly. If you took that away and you knew the divine unfolding instead of following it, you wouldn't have a quarter of the expansion. Did you ever hear someone tell a magnificent story and they're like telling it, and you're listening and you're like, well, yeah, I really don't get it. And then your friend is like this, well, you had to be there. And you're like, yeah, I guess I did. Listen, to expand, you have to be there. So if you knew and someone told you the story, or you knew the punchline, or you knew how it was going to end up, you wouldn't become the person you're becoming. Your soul would not have the advantage of the expansion. You have to be there. So the person who is telling you the story, she's like, oh my gosh, I have to tell you what happened. It was the most transformational moment. And you're hearing it and you're like, wow, that's cool. And she's like, I guess you had to be there. You have to be there. So what I'm saying is celebrate your not knowing, because it's a buzzkill, and because you would rob yourself of the aha moment expansion that moves you to the next cycle. Feel me? You don't want to know how. And so many of us want to know, and in the not knowing, we don't move forward. And that's why I'm like, ladies and gents, some of you, follow your nudge, follow your synchronicities, create them, manifest them, follow them every single time. Okay? Let me know if this is helpful, and keep those comments. What are you celebrating? Because as you write them down, by the way, do know that you activate them. So celebrate your dark nights, celebrate your rebirths, celebrate your life cycles, and celebrate right now. If you're standing on the cusp of a new adventure, or if you're being called, celebrate the energy that's in that, that's connecting with you. Celebrate the divine universe that is speaking to you right now, saying, hey, I got something good for you. In fact, it's going to be everything that you ever wanted. Care to follow? Come this way. We've got the map. And while we've got the map, you get to co-create it with us. All the stops along the way, all the manifesting along the way. You pick your speed, by the way. You want to go fast, let's go fast. You want to go slower, let's go slower. You get to have partnership with this amazing divine universe. So if you're on the cusp of that and you feel the call, celebrate that and acknowledge it and honor it. Because I know too many times it's like, what's the call? Well, the call is a dream that matters to you. I don't care what it is. If it's a purpose, if it's a call to go on vacation, you have that nudge. Honor that and honor the feeling within and celebrate it, celebrate it, celebrate it, because it lives within you for a reason. And connecting to that is something to celebrate. Okay, keep them coming. Tell me what you're celebrating. Tell me what you're celebrating. All right, what else can we celebrate? Okay, this is celebrating a commitment to thyself. So I talk a lot about commitment to self, about keeping promises to yourself and how that rewires your mind to worthiness, right? I talk a lot about making a decision. I talk a lot about being curious and asking questions, and at the end of that question is an opening for you to step into. There are all these inroads to the alignment, into the philosophy, into the process. But this commitment piece, while it seems so cliche-ish, right? It's super important. Your commitment to you, it's like, celebrate that. And if you ever made a commitment to you or made a promise to yourself and broke it, forgive yourself 1,000 times, whatever it takes, and come back to the commitment to you. Because it's where it's at. It's where you say, I show up for me. Not for just tomorrow, not for just the next 100 days, because I'm going to live them anyway, but for the rest of my life. Like, the work we're doing here is lifetime work. It isn't learning one tiny thing, it's lifetime work. And so when we consistently come back to, I'm committed to myself, 100%, 1,000% of the time. And I will recommit and recommit and recommit until more often than not, I'm so committed to myself and my journey and standing on the quantum field of my daily life, manifesting all that I desire and living an absolute magical synchronistic unfolding. Oh my gosh, coming back to that commitment, as cliche as it sounds, is like of utmost importance. I can't tell you how many times people have said, well, I did this work and it was magical, and then I stopped doing this work and now it's not. And I'm going to say, there's nothing wrong with that. We all ebb and flow. I mean, I've had so many ebbs and flows over my 25 years, right? Even within my cycles. But one thing that I can be sure of, and one thing that I do not waver on, is self-love and self-commitment. I come back to that time and time and time again, because the path lights up when you do. And so Tim and I, we live in this world where, yeah, every day is a quantum event. Every day is a quantum event. Every day life feels blessed with synchronicities and unfoldings and opportunities to heal and transform and clear and keep our vibration high so that we're floating and really feeling so like in a space of what the ego would call control. But it isn't control. It's actually surrender. It's actually trust. It's actually deep connection. So, but in all of that, it just does, what do I want to say? It turns out, manifestors, that when we do the work, the miraculous shows up and we definitely feel in control of our lives. So we definitely feel that we actually get to impact the painting, you know? We create the painting as it moves through us. Okay, so tell me what you are creating. Tell me what you are celebrating, and tell me what you want to manifest in the next 100 days, gang. This 25 years has been hands down blessed by all of you. And I just want to say that. I mean that on every single level. Thank you for coming into my world. Thank you for being a part of my soul family. And it's magnificent. So as for cycle 6, we're headed into Lighthouse, Manifestation 100 days. The M100 100 days is going to be available very, very soon. And Luminary is coming. So it's cycle 6, 25 years of celebrating. Please celebrate yourself. But 25 years of celebrating in cycle 6, and it's time to shine the light in a way that, you know, gets to like collapse time, and it gets to touch many lives. So with that said, you have an amazing, amazing day. I will be in touch. We're going to be kind of on and off the grid a little bit over the next few weeks, but October is right around the corner, and here comes cycle 6. So I love you all so much. Thank you for joining me for this 25-year celebration. Please celebrate yourselves and keep the comments coming. I love reading them. Until next time, bye for now.